Good morning. People are still coming in. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds till everybody's in. I see people still connecting to audio. And I see a bunch of new names here. How exciting. Welcome, Angela. And Camila's here also, isn't she? I saw her name pop up. Okay. We got some of our home turf people here today. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the NHSA Apprenticeship Work Circle. Today's a little bit of a different meeting because we're doing more of a webinar type, but it's also not really. We are going to have a couple of presentations, and then we're going to do a group discussion. And sometime later, we'll ask you to introduce yourselves as you have comments or questions. If you give the presenters a chance to talk through their stuff, and they'll let you know at any point in time when it's okay to interrupt, or if it's okay to interrupt at any point in time. We really want to talk about the mentoring piece of apprenticeships. And as you know, if you're either operating or on the verge of operating an apprenticeship, the mentoring piece is something that's unique in early childhood apprenticeships, as well as different than other apprenticeships for specific reasons. I mean, one is it's not like student teaching at the K-12 level, and yet it's more like that than any other kind of apprenticeship is if you're going to be a plumber or an electrician. And if you think about the mentoring that goes on with other apprenticeships, all you have to do is be a journey person and know a little bit more than the person you're apprenticing. And that's really the only requirement in a registered apprenticeship is to be working with a journey level person who has more experience than the apprentice or more certifications. In early childhood, it's a little bit different because you need additional training in order to be able to support adults. Just because you work with kids doesn't mean you can work with adults. And I think that's one of the things that we've seen in terms of our model for mentoring, and Yolanda will talk a little bit more about that. But um, not only is the mentoring piece good for the mentee, the apprentice, but it's really good for the mentor. And I think we see in all of the mentor programs in early childhood is there's a leadership track for mentors as well, and a training track for mentors. It's not just they've hit their stride and they know everything they need to know, but it's a little bit different. And I think Sue and Yolanda will both talk about that. After they give their, mini presentations, then we're going to open it up for discussion. So if you have questions, if you have answers, if you have ideas, if you have a model that's different, we hope you'll share it with us. And so let's go. I'm going to turn it over to Sue, who can you introduce yourself, or you want me to introduce you?
I can do that. So hi, everyone. I'm Sue Polajak. I'm going to actually share my screen. And we have a brand new template at Carlo with our slideshow. And that's very beautiful. So I'm Sue Polajak. I am the director of the Dr. Rayanne Hirsch Apprenticeship Hub for Early Childhood Education at Carlo University. And this is part of our campus at Carlo. We're a private Catholic university in the Oakland section of Pittsburgh. So situated at the very end of Carnegie Mellon and Pitt and all the other schools. That are in that area of Pittsburgh. So what I'm going to talk to you all about today is our year 3 apprenticeship report, and then talk about our mentoring piece and how all of this information that I'm going to share with you from the report really is steeped in the support that the students get from the mentors. So in our program, we have the mentor, which is someone from the university. And then within the childcare site, they have a coach. So just want to differentiate both of those roles as I go through how our program works, and just an update of where we are in year 3. So we have grown exponentially over the last couple of years in our program. We are a bachelor degree program at Carlo. And our goals are to reduce barriers to degree attainment, diversify the teacher pipeline, these last two are very near and dear to my heart. Increase the quality of interactions between the caregiver and the children, but also between teacher and teacher or teacher and director. We have found that time and time again that teachers are much more comfortable in their roles, and speaking up with their ideas in the classroom, even having really difficult conversations with directors. And that mentor from the university has really done a great job of supporting those students that have come to us with, it's more, as they've been taking classes, it's more about philosophies and things that they want to try in the classroom. Not necessarily health and safety, but more about philosophies and things like that. And then ultimately to promote higher quality early care and education across the board. So within our program, they have coursework. So it's a bachelor degree program, so 120 credits. So a lot of our courses are offered online. The courses that are not offered online are more of the methods courses. We do deeply believe in hands-on experiences. And so for us to be able to teach you how to teach children math and reading, you need to be in a classroom with us. We have 3 locations. Again, we have the university mentor and the on-site coach. And in addition to all of those things, the programs also benefit because we have professional development for not only the student, but also the entire staff at the child care center, which we have also found to be really supportive. And then that's also a way that we've really increased our enrollment by the experience that the student has had with us at Carlo. They share with their coworkers, and then they want to be involved as well. And then they also, just with the things that we have at Carlo, we have a really easy transfer agreement with community colleges and community partners, and we have a lot of supports. And all of our apprentices are able to have access to everything that a traditional student at Carlo would have. And I guess I should say you could jump in with your questions as I go through this. I should have said that before. So in our year 3 report, this was all by student survey, director survey, mentor survey, and just data that we collect from the university as a whole. So we did have a really good response rate for the surveys, which was about 71.5% of our 162 students. So I was pretty happy with all of that. The in-person interviews was a little bit harder to get students to do, just because it was more time consuming, but we did have good representation from the counties that we serve. And then from the directors, about half of them completed the surveys. Again, I'm sure, as with most of the programs that you're working with, directors are still in classrooms. So being able to, spend time trying to answer some of our questions was a little bit, we just chalked it up as that. And then we did have an 80% return rate for our mentor survey. So that was, I'm going to say, I wasn't happy with that. That should have been 100% because we were also giving them a stipend to be able to do this. But hopefully this year we'll have 100%. So this is our program reach. We started as a pilot in 2019. So in our 3rd year, we have 168 students, 86 child care centers in 6 counties. So this was school year 22-23. So this ended in May of last year. So Allegheny County, which is the purple that you see, that is like Pittsburgh City and the surrounding areas. Beaver and Butler, Fayette, all of those other, they're suburban and rural. So Westmoreland is our 2nd highest location, where we have apprentices. And then our QRIS system is a 4-star rating. And as you could see, most of our centers are star ones. The focus of our program is star ones and star twos. However, that is where we find that those centers don't have as much support as the higher level star centers. And a lot of those star one centers, all Department of Human Services licensed childcares are at least a star one, and some choose not to go any higher in our system. And those are more of the for-profit centers, because they have their own curriculums and their own quality controls. So we're still trying to work on those star twos. And where we also find the barrier for that is with the journey workers and the coaches, to be able to support the students with those higher level degrees. Even if it's an associate degree, a lot of those folks have CDAs, and maybe not as many with associate or bachelor's degrees. Where what we have found is they do have the experience. They have years and years of experience. And so we are in the process of thinking about our journey workers a little bit different. We had a pretty high expectation of them going into apprenticeship, but have been having a lot of discussions about changing what we have determined to be the qualification of a journey worker. So as you could see, in year one, which was in 2020, we had 52 students, and year three, we have 228. So we've seen a really quick increase. And that increase is based on the financial supports that the students in Pennsylvania have access to. So in Pennsylvania, a couple of years ago, there was a change in the way that the state utilized the CCDBG funds. Instead of just using it to community organizations for professional development, the system changed to what's called a professional development organization, and it had to be attached to a higher ed, so that the majority of professional development given out in Pennsylvania is tied to credit. Because in our minds, that's the way that we're going to change the workforce in Pennsylvania, to see it professionalized. We are going to see an increase in degrees. I sit on our PDO advisory board, so for the whole state, and the PDO, since its inception in 2020, have seen, I believe it's about 50 graduates across the state with bachelor's degrees, and 40 of them are from Carlo. So I'm pretty proud of that. So we have the majority of them. So that's, that's one of the reasons why our program is so large. And this is southwestern Pennsylvania. So you could see Pennsylvania, or Pittsburgh's in the middle, and that's where our centers are all located. As you can see, they're pretty spread out. So it's a pretty big swath there. So, as we've been working on our apprenticeship program, and as most of you probably see very similar outcomes with or many of the same obstacles. So of course, limited finances, work responsibilities. And that's again why the mentor is so critical, to just talk people through, just on a day-to-day basis, how to balance home, school, courses, just family expectations, all of those things. And the travel and the transportation limitations, that's in our outside counties. In the city of Pittsburgh, there's a really good transit system, but once you get outside of the city, the public transportation is seriously lacking. And so that's why people are drawn to our program, because a lot of the classes are online. But if they do have to come to an in-person class, we have 2 satellite options for them to come to. So that has really help, that they don't have to come to the city. I don't know about people in your region, but like if people have to drive into the city of Pittsburgh, like it's really a thing. And so the fact that we have those two other locations is really beneficial. Some other statistics about diversifying the pipeline. 16 self-identified as a member of a racial minority. In Allegheny County, it's there is a lot of diversity in that in Allegheny County, but then once you get outside of Allegheny County, there is really not. So just a little bit of an explanation of that number. And I think the next set of numbers is really exciting, that 54 people have already seen a pay increase. 24 people were promoted. 5 moved to a new job site for a promotion. And 13 moved to a different work site for a similar job but better work conditions. That has been a theme that we have seen in the last year. Again, as they're taking classes, learning more about theory and developmentally appropriate practice. Again, it's not health and safety, but it is about philosophies and DAP. And again, that's where our in the slide that's coming, it's about how, who the mentors are. And I have to say, our mentors, they are really a who's who in our area. So if one of their mentees says, hey, I'm thinking about a different job, do you know of anywhere? Where they're all pretty connected, and some of them are directors. So, so they're able to maybe have them move to their center or something like that. So we are really excited about those numbers. So I'll pause there for a moment because I talked really fast about that. Before I moved into the mentor model and some of the other supports. Does anyone have any questions? Am I still good on time, Pam? Okay, good. Okay. So our mentor model is that every one of our students receives a mentor. So right now we have 16 mentors, and the caseloads vary for a couple different reasons. Our mentor makeup is 5 of us are actually staff at Carlo. So even though I'm the director of the apprenticeship program, I'm also a mentor. I also teach classes. I am the faculty advisor for our Kappa Delta Pi and Future Educators Club. So a lot of us have other jobs because our school is fairly small. So 4 of my other colleagues are also university mentors. And 9 out of the 15 of us went to Carlo, either for undergrad, grad, or both, and all primarily got our degrees while either being a center director or working in childcare, or in some way working while getting our degrees. And so I feel that really contributes to the success of our mentor model, because I remember what it was like when I was a center director, getting my teacher certification, having to leave for 8 weeks to go to the kindergarten classroom where I did my student teaching, balancing family. We all know what that's like. And so when we're in mentor meetings and students are talking to us about a struggle that they're having, or whatever, or the celebration, someone did that for me, someone did that for my colleagues, and I feel that really goes a long way for someone to really have a true understanding of what you're going through, because we didn't. I do meet with the mentors every other Wednesday. We do successes and challenges, discuss issues, and then what we have found as we've grown, it's easier for me to meet with the mentors and then them meet individually with their groups. I still send out some mass emails to all 168 students, but it also is easier for us to to meet with the mentors and talk it through a little bit more. So I'm not inundated with all of the emails. They can troubleshoot as that first line of support with students. They document their mentor meetings in a form that's submitted at the end of every semester. And that's where we get a lot of our anecdotal information from the students. And that has really been beneficial to us. That's how we got those statistics of who switched jobs, who had pay increases, and just some really great general feedback from students on how they've been using the content that they've been learning in classes, all of those kinds of things. So so that's been really helpful, and that's when they meet with the research and the evaluation team. So these are some of the this may be a little bit hard to see, but these are direct quotes from some of the students. So this one is very poignant for this. Just being able to have a mentor to talk to if you ever have problems. She's extremely helpful, giving me what I need. We provide the books. So the books, the funding, which is amazing, and she's helped me a lot. All members of the apprenticeship team have helped me. All the professors know sorry, my Apple Watch is speaking back to me. All my professors know my name, they know who I am, and they care about my progress and want me to be doing my best. I'm struggling a little bit now with paying my bills, but when I first started, and the program helped me pay for most of my internet. No pressure, no stress, on-the-job courses are amazing. So this is all testament to how we all work together as a team to wrap our arms around the students to make sure that they have everything that they need. So this is the role of the mentor. We do give them some flexibility as to when they meet with the students. When I mentor in clusters. So I have 4 new students, so I meet with them together, and then I have some students that have been in the program for a while, and I meet with them every other week. So we really allow them the flexibility. They know the students the best and what works for them. So they complete a log, they attend, like I said, the bi-weekly meetings, and then communicating with the successes and challenges. Do I have time to show a short video from one of our students?
How short?
3 minutes exactly.
Okay, you got exactly 3 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, I think I may have to open this up in a separate. Can you see this or no? Okay, let me stop sharing this and do a new share. Can you see it now? Perfect.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianne Rice. I am program specialist at JV's Bright Beginnings, which is
Can you hear it?
Child Care Center in North Bennington. I am a recent graduate of the Carlo Apprenticeship Program. I'm super excited about that and honored to be able to say that. This program has allowed me to reach some personal and professional goals that I had set for myself, and some that I didn't even know I wanted. Personally, the program has allowed me to really reflect on who I am and who I want to be, with that understanding of mercy in my life. I've never understood it the way that I understand it now. Not only mercy for myself, but mercy for others, and on what that looks like in my life. And that's due to reflection. When I started the program, I felt like all we did was reflect on ourselves or on our feelings or how we understood certain things. But man, that has played a big part in my life over the past few years, to allow me to grow and develop as a human and as a person in this world that wants to make a difference. The program has also professionally allowed me to reach my goal of earning that bachelor's degree. I've been in the early education field for over 15 years, and now I have that degree to back up all of that experience. And with that, I've learned a lot, and why certain things are done and why we do things the way that we do them. but it also has allowed me to find a new passion in this field. So in the program, I was asked to be a part of an advocacy group, Teach Plus for PA, and I was able to go and advocate for our field. I've always advocated for the students and the families in my program, but I didn't understand that I could advocate for my fellow coworkers and for you and for this program, for this field to grow and develop and to be understood as professionals as we are. I was able to go to Harrisburg and I was able to speak to representatives to try and make a difference on that level for what our profession is and what it can be in the future. I now am able to sit on a teacher advisory board through pre-K for PA and Start Strong. Just another way to be able to use my voice to support what we are all doing and what we all know is right. So that is super exciting. So I have grown professionally and I have grown personally throughout this program. And I am excited and honored to have been a part of it and to be able to still be a part of it going forward. Thanks.
So it's important for me to tell you that Bree is now a mentor. So she graduated in August and we hired her at the end of August to be a mentor. And she will be going with the Midwest Urban Strategies Group to DC on Monday, meeting with top legislators and some White House staff talking about the workforce. So super proud of her. So thank you. Does anyone have any questions or?
There are a couple of questions in the
Sure.
chat. Is this a cohort model?
So it starts out as a cohort model, but because of some students come in with associate degrees, it starts out as a cohort model, but not necessarily, just because people come in with different credits at different times. Yep.
And how many students per mentor?
So it depends, typically around 10. But I have a little bit more just because if there's an overflow, because they're all contractors, they have full-time jobs, then I take them. But it's usually around 10. And some may have 10 because they only have one center because there may be that many people at one center.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other burning questions, or we're going to move on to the next presentation? Just feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Okie doke.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. That's great. And I can't believe the growth. And if you're anything like our program that's grown exponentially in the last year, it's a little crazy making too. So for those of you who are growing your programs, be stable and be safe, be sane.
And I always say
When you
this
said
will look
something in the
different.
beginning about this mental program, I was thinking like, yes, it is.
I always say this will look different next semester because we'll learn something that we never even thought of.
Right, right. So, hi, I'm Pam Shaw with the YMCA of the East Bay. We are a large nonprofit in the San Francisco East Bay. We're funded to serve 1,800 kids in 4 counties. Most of our work happens in Alameda and Contra Costa counties, which are in the East Bay part of San Francisco. So when you talk about traffic in Pittsburgh, it can't meet this. You know, you can spend an hour going like less than 5 miles during rush hour here. And so nobody likes to travel for classes. And some of the campuses that we work with are located in places that there's no transportation at night. Our population is very different than Sue's. When you look at our diversity, it's about 90%, 92% BIPOC. It's about 40 to 50% speak a language other than English when they come in and when they leave. There's a focus on hiring and recruiting from our parent population of low-income parents because we are looking for staff that look like the children. And so there's a big effort to do that. And we've set up our mentoring program to be a little bit more intensive with what we call our tier 1s or associate teachers, which is equivalent to the CDA. That's the initial 12 units. Because that population is definitely more fragile and more needy. And so I'm going to introduce Yolanda Garnett, who is our mentor coordinator, and she's going to dig in more detail and talk about our program.
Good morning. Let me share my screen. Yep. There we go. So here we go. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yolanda Garnett, like Pam said. I am the mentor coordinator for the YMCA's Mentor Teacher Program. And this morning, and forgive me for my voice, I'm a little bit sick. This morning, I'll be sharing with you how the YMCA is empowering the next generation of educators through our Mentor Teacher Program. My button is not working. Sorry. What's going on? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Sorry. For those of you who are new to the apprenticeship circle, because we've done this presentation before, I'd like to start by giving you a brief overview of the YMCA's Early Educator Mentor Teacher Program. It's a critical component of the WISE apprenticeship program and the apprentice introduction to the early childhood profession. Mentor teachers support the apprentice in making the necessary connections between pedagogy and practice and support the apprentice with their personal and professional development. The Mentor Teacher Program provides mentors opportunities for professional growth, leadership development, collegial discourse with their coworkers, and reflective practice. The program's goals and objectives for the mentors are to develop mentor teachers' leadership skills, mentoring and coaching, to provide the apprentice with a mentor teacher to guide, coach, model, and support in assimilating into the ECE setting, culture, and practice. Another goal is to provide the apprentice as a new teacher the opportunity to develop connections between pedagogy and practice. And it's also a safe place to practice new skills for the apprentice. Our program components. So this has changed and evolved as we've gone along. Like Sue said, we learn new stuff each year and add to it. The components of the program include an application and vetting process. Mentors complete an application, and their immediate supervisors also complete a recommendation for them. Mentors are vetted by way of an interview and an observation of their classroom practices. We also review their ITERs and ECHRs and class scores, and the mentors, they participate in a bi-monthly training. There's also, we use the competency-based assessment tool on both the mentors and the apprentice. So myself as a coordinator go out, part of the vetting process is I go out and I look at the competency-based assessment and rate that teacher using that assessment. So this is my third year of coordinating the Mentor Teacher Program. The mentor program has grown, like Pam said, exponentially. We currently have 32 mentors throughout the program. We have centers, and we just added the Antioch-Pittsburgh area where we have 4 mentors over there. In response to the growing number of mentor teachers, we've taken one of our seasoned mentor teachers out of the classroom, and she now serves as an itinerant mentor at sites where we don't have a mentor. So not all of our sites have a mentor teacher. So this teacher that we've taken out of the classroom, when we place an apprentice at that site where there's no mentor, she goes over and mentor that apprentice. Her other job that she does while she's over there is to recruit a teacher at that site So the next time we put an apprentice over there, then we would have a mentor teacher there. So when she's recruiting, which she just recruited a new teacher, and what we're going to have her do is that teacher will shadow her in the process of mentoring the apprentice. This way, when we place another apprentice at that site, the teacher will be ready to mentor that apprentice. So, let's see. Mentor teachers engage in professional development opportunities such as bi-monthly meetings, which I just mentioned previously, and trainings that enhance their skills and abilities to mentor and coach apprentices effectively. Some of the training topics include professional dispositions, effective communication, and adult learning styles, which, by the way, we just added this new year that we started, especially around professional dispositions, because we were finding that is really important and key to sustaining the apprentice. It matters how the mentor presents themselves and the energy they give off to the apprentice. So we've started to talk about what professional dispositions look like and how that affects and impacts the apprentice. Initially, we talked a lot about the competencies and wanting them to be able to articulate that to their apprentice. So as we moved on, we learned we needed to add some different topics, which is why we started to add effective communication, adult learning styles, because like someone said earlier, just because you are good with children doesn't necessarily mean you can teach adults. We also do a virtual or in-person check-in with the mentors. They check in with me. We either do it virtually or I go to the site and check in with them. And it's primarily on an as-needed basis, especially for those mentors who have been mentoring with us from the beginning. This is a little diagram of our chart of our site visits. We do once a month, or we try to do it once a month. And as I said, it's on an as-needed basis. This year, we created a Padlet. Padlet is an online post-it wall. It allows individuals or large or small groups to post their comments, questions, and resources in one place that is easily accessible. Mentors can use the Padlet to print off the forms they need in their coaching or mentoring of the apprentice. They can also use the Padlet to check out resources, look at what's going on currently in the ECE field. I've been big on talking to them about advocating for not just for children, but also for the field itself. So there's information on there. In addition, mentors can also find resources such as the California Educator Competencies Guide and Toolkit, the NAEYC's Code of Ethical Conduct, and articles that are relevant to mentoring and coaching. So this year we have 2 new additions to our program, which is the East Bay Innovations cohort. East Bay Innovations is an agency that provides personalized support to enable individuals with disabilities to live independently and work jobs. Mentors provide mentoring and coaching to these adults. And they also have a job coach that is assigned to them as well. So our mentors are collaborating with the job coach on serving the needs of the apprentice. Our second new addition to the program was a partnership with the California Early Childhood Mentor Teacher Program. Historically, the California Mentor Teacher Program certified early educators with a master teacher permit or higher. This new reimagined program from California Early Childhood Mentor Teacher Program, they have created 2 new pathways to certification. One of those pathways is a job alike mentor. This provides certification to early educators with a minimum of 12 ECE units, includes associate teachers, the teacher, or family child care provider. They're also bringing in retired certification. It's a retired certification pathway where they're bringing mentors back that mentored years ago. This is a pilot program. The program offers 30 hours of professional development and 10 hours of mentoring strategies and practices. Mentors are given a choice to either participate in the California Mentor Teacher Program or attend the bi-monthly meetings through the YMCA. Accomplishments and lessons learned. So the impact on the apprentices, improved teaching skills. Apprentices benefit from the guidance and expertise of experienced mentors, leading to development of effective teaching techniques and strategies. We see apprentices with increased confidence about what they're doing through mentorship. Apprentices gain confidence in their abilities as educators, which can possibly impact their interactions with young children and the overall job performance. Many of our apprentices, when they connect with their mentor, in fact, the mentor that we've taken out of the classroom, she has a very good success rate with her apprentices. They all want to stay in her classroom. Now what we're doing, because we want to continue to mentor them even beyond the OJT. So she is staying in connection with them, checking on them by phone, or maybe going over and visiting the site where they are to continue to support them in their work. The impact on the mentors, for me, this has been very enlightening. In the beginning, I felt like it was like all about the apprentices, and I started to think about what made me successful in the classroom when I was in the classroom. And it was because I always had some really good mentors. And so for me, I like to be a good mentor to my mentors. And that just means, supporting them in the roles that they're in. The program contributes to ongoing professional development, ensuring that mentors stay up to date with the latest research and best practices in early education. Some mentors may eventually, like our itinerant mentor, move on to other leadership positions within the agency and contribute to the program's sustainability, growth, and broader field of early education. Some of the challenges that we faced is matching mentors and apprentice. Finding the right mentor-mentee pairs with compatible teaching styles, personalities, and goals can be challenging. Balancing workloads, finding the right mentor-mentee pairs with compatible teaching teaching styles and goals can be challenging. Also, their culture and language differences in diverse educational settings, navigating culture and language barriers between mentors and apprentices can be very challenging. We try to pair mentors and apprentices that maybe speak the same language or have the same culture, just to support that. I don't know, Pam, if you want to add anything about insights gained.
And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't when you pair people that are similar. Sometimes it's better to have them be really different. I think what we've learned is that we have to support the mentors as much as we have to support the mentees. And the other piece is we have to support other staff at the site, center directors. So the mentors all receive stipends, and I put it in the chat, from $1,500 to $2,000 a piece for each apprentice that they work with. The apprentices are in the classroom from 3 to 6 months, depending on our staffing needs basically, because we're trying to hire everybody or they get other paid jobs in the community. And so as fast as we can get them into a permanent place in a classroom, they're going to move off. But that's when she was saying like Tracy would hold on to them and continue to visit them. And many of the other mentors do the same thing with their mentees. They see them through that whole first year of being in the program. We usually don't place apprentices until they've got 6 units in early childhood. So it's after the first semester of taking classes because they're taking 2 classes a semester. And everything we do is pretty much grant funded. I mean, we are all state and federally funded. So some of that money is used to pay salaries, but for the most part, we're pretty grant driven on these things. And we write those stipends into every grant to make sure they're covered. And now we've got a large grant through the state mentor teacher program that's going to be supporting the mentor teachers, which allowed us to give them a little bit more money this year as well. So, Yolanda, there was
So
one
that-
other question, what the Saturday meetings look like, or what the bi-monthly meetings look like.
So those meetings are held on Saturdays and they're attended primarily by the newer mentors that are joining us. Our old group, our seasoned group of mentors are engaging in the community of practice with the California Mentor Teacher Program. And the other half of the group are attending the bi-monthly meetings. In those meetings, like I said, the topics range from learning, understanding adult learning styles, effective communication, how to have a positive feedback meeting with your apprentice. So, and also mentors are able at that time to, openly discuss any challenges they're having with their apprentices. And then we collectively try to solve that together. So that's what that's what those meetings are looking like. I'm like losing my voice here. Sorry.
Any questions or comments or thoughts, or is anybody doing something that they've started and want to share as well? We've got about 10 minutes, 9 minutes left.
No questions.
Yeah, I had a question.
Introduce yourself and tell us where you're
Oh,
from.
I'm sorry. Hi, my name is Naira Barahona, and I am from the Child Care Research Center, and I'm an apprenticeship coordinator. So my question was, you mentioned, Yolanda, that you do bi-monthly meetings. I just wanted to know, what does that consist of?
So like I was saying earlier, that consists of initially with our new mentors that comes in, we want to make sure that they understand and can articulate the professional competencies and standards. So we go over those. We utilize the toolkit. There's videos that talks about each of these professional standards and competencies, and we're connecting it with what we do in the classroom. Because what I find a lot of times, teachers, they know about these competencies, they've heard about them, but they don't really understand what they look like in the classroom in action. So I am helping them to make those connections so that they are able to then go and make those connections with the apprentice. And it's a lot about being able to articulate that. And we have added other topics, which includes understanding adult learning styles, effective communication. What's some of the other ones? Oh my God, I'm having like a brain freeze right now. There's like a list of other topics that we talk about as well. And we're also doing, like I said, some collaborative, trying to solve problems together, like role playing, those kinds of things. And we do them, I try to do like one in person and then one virtual. I'm in the process right now of connecting with a presenter to do a presentation around equity and diversity with them. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now.
And they do get paid overtime for attending those sessions. So it's
Yes,
not
they
like
do.
they're just, doing it out of the goodness of their hearts for professional development. Although a couple probably would, but they're all getting paid overtime when they show up on a Saturday if they've worked, 40 hours during that week.
And I also believe like they need to, the mentors, I want them to see themselves as professionals. And so for me, that means, I want them to engage in like activities that will raise the level of their professionalism. We are also right now, fingers crossed, we're going to go to this conference, and they'll be able to go to the conference, engage in that, learn some new stuff. So I think those types of activities will help them, help to build and strengthen their professionalism.
We're taking the apprentices too, by the way. To the
Yes,
it's
I
a
saw
conference on
that.
literacy and equity right now, so it's like perfect for both groups. Monique, you had your hand up. Can you introduce
Yes.
yourself first? Tell people.
Okay. Yes. I'm Monique Martin Johnson, and I'm the project manager for with Wayne Metro Community Action Agency here in Detroit, under our innovation lab. And we have a Leap to Teach program. It's not a registered program. It's not a registered apprenticeship, but it has a lot of components. So I'm really interested, this in the beginning of this year to try to, because we attach mentor teachers to our participants one-on-one. They have an individual mentor teacher that is assigned to them in the classroom that they're working in, or getting their practicum for, their 80 hours, 480 hours. So it's a little bit different because they're focused on the CDA right now, but with the opportunity to go on with their education, towards an associate's degree or bachelor's degree. So there's a lot that I'm just like wanting to talk a little bit more, but our time is limited. But a couple of things that I was just kind of making note. So under the application and vetting process, and you mentioned a iterant mentor, and that person shadowing, doing, having someone shadow. So do they go through the same application vetting process, or are they kind of transitioned in as a mentor teacher because they're shadowing?
No, they would still fill out the application and go through the vetting process as well.
Okay. Another question, and Padlet has been kind of coming up a lot, and I'm interested in just trying to see, that as another resource. But other than that, because we have Head Start, early Head Start, and some things are built in terms of staff development and coaching for the staff. And so I'm just trying to see if some of the components that you pulled, in terms of staff development, was it coming from something that, like, from HR? We are a bigger agency, so we have a lots of programs and stuff. So was some of the things that were being built to address, those needs, in terms of, effective, positive feedback and all those things? It seems like there's some things that cross over across.
There is things that cross over, but I think with this mentor model, we're honing in and focusing on certain elements with this group of people who are mentoring the apprentices. Some of those topics are covered throughout the complete program with all staff. But we are, because this is a mentor program that's focused directly on the apprentices, then we are covering them again.
I think
Okay.
the other piece to that too is we work closely with the education and operations team of the whole
Yes.
program. So they're meeting with them twice a month, I think, to plan activities, and then they come in and meet with the mentors as well. Not all our mentors are employed by the agency. Some are, some aren't. And so that's another piece of it. We're training people to become employed.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing to that too is our education team has started a cycle of trainings with the apprentices, like giving them a base around the competencies so that way when they get with their mentor teacher, they have some knowledge about the competencies, or even just about the paperwork that teachers normally would do. They give them an introduction to the program, and they do that like 4 times over a couple of months. They meet with the education team meets with the apprentice. They talk about teacher-child interactions, and as mentors, we want to match what the education team is telling the apprentice, so that way when they come into the classroom, they know what to expect and we're all on the same page.
And the last thing that I wanted to say, Pam, is are there, and I know that this is being recorded and hopefully resources, because there's like a lot that I would like to like unpack, you know, and look at. I don't know if there's infographics that kind of like show, because it's easy, you know, when you start talking and flowing and like, but I just want to like unpack it all and kind of like see like how can, you know, I take, you know, and make it useful for, you know, what we're, you know, inspiring to do.
So when I'm seeing a little note from our behind the scenes, it's 9:30, and there was a suggestion that we unpack it at the next meeting. So the next apprenticeship work circle meeting is going to be on March 7th. And why don't we add that to the agenda? So that'll be the whole first part of the agenda, is debriefing on the mentoring piece and kind of how to unpack it and where we want to go next with it, since it's such a large part of it. And you only heard from 2 programs, so there are others of you who are still trying to figure it out. And, you know, if you've got something new or different, that would be really exciting. For those of you who've never been to our work circle, we meet the first Thursday of every month. Quarterly, we're doing these kinds of larger group meetings, but you're welcome to join us. If you would like to stay on the mailing list, you can email Rachel Hutchinson. Rachel, do you want to put your email in the chat before we sign off? But it's easy, rhutchison@nhsa.org. So grab that if any of you are interested. And we do have an email list, so you can contact people, and we will send out Sue and Yolanda's PowerPoints. If you could both send those to Rachel, that would be great. And we will see you all next month. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Sue.
you.
Thank you, Yolanda.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.